You said that you love winning. What drives you more, the love of winning or the hate of losing?
Maybe equally, maybe both. I don't like losing, and I do like winning.
Say his name and he appears.
This is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Check, check, check. Check, check, check. I don't know what's happening. Check, check. What have you done to me? What have you done to me? All right. Yes. One sec. Check, 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 check. Why is this not working? Check, check, check. Wait. I hear something now, right? What is it going on with this? Hold on. I still got to figure out why it's not working right. Wait. Yeah, that sucks. Check, 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 check. Man, that sucks. Something's going on with my I just had to reboot before too. Something's going on with my mic. Sorry, guys. Thanks for bearing with me. Welcome to Winning 2024, where I try to get my shit together in the morning, which is always fun. I guess we're gonna have to go with this lame setting here. That really sucks. I don't know what they did to my my mixer here. They updated it right before I went live. I had to reboot, and all kinds of craziness ensued. I'm just wondering why it's doing that. Now, I guess this is the wrong time to try to troubleshoot it, but away we go. I guess we'll just go with this. Hopefully this sounds good to you guys. Do I sound like I normally do? We struggled streaming. Oh, really? Good. Okay. Struggle streaming. Yeah. Well, thank you to all the members who keep the channel running and support the channel. Scrolling at the bottom of the screen there. And thank you to Shelly and Wolfram, who also supports over on Rumble and X. And to everybody who was over on Rumble and X and was wondering what the hell was going on. I was having audio issues. I don't know why, though. It's the same settings I always use. And it'll drive me crazy until I figure it out, but I'll have to figure it out later. All right. So we'll have to go with this very lame setting. And like I said, I hope it's the same experience for everybody, because I do try to have try to put on a good show for you guys. I got something new that you guys probably haven't. I don't know that many people do it this way. I think one other creator I've seen actually does this. I actually have a new news service called Ground News, and I'm going to feature some stuff out of that today, which is a very interesting look at the world. It tells you like where news is and who's what looking at it. And we're going to do a segment about that, minor improvements every show. But then I have this a little minor setback to start us out. So that's the morning time. That's morning with winning. That's how we do it. I struggle for about half the day, and then I'd snap it. I'm kind of like a night owl, kind of a night person. And we'll see if I actually speed up within the next 2 hours or not. But I'm giving this morning show a shot. I'm doing 2 days a week, Wednesdays and Fridays. These are the nights that I don't stream. So just to kind of keep up with the news and keep everybody and reach out to new people, see who's here in the daytime and morning time and wants to come hang out with me. Doing that. So that's good. That's a good thing, right? That's good. Lady Autumn Sky, so good to see you. So good to see you. Iron Rabbit, Wolfram, thank you for dropping the links. Thank you. No loping and howling this morning, but you can still listen to the wolf. He knows what he's talking about. I've not seen any lopes and howls yet. I'm guessing when the business is done, he'll be by his business meeting. It's so nice of him to be here and to take care of me and all these streams. Wolfram is a loyal wolf, and I really do appreciate everything he does tremendously. Lucifer, what's up? It's 5:53 on Vancouver Island. I haven't had a muted start in a long time. So here's that. Let's have a sip of coffee and check it out. What time is it? Okay. What I said is I get started at 8:45 and chat with everybody, and we'll get started with the content here about 9 o'clock, and I'll start pulling things up. That's a good call on my part. It shows that I've grown a lot and learned about myself, and over the decades, come in swinging like I do at night, man. I'm all ready to go. The mornings, I'm still like, what did I forget? What am I doing wrong right now? Where am I? So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it should be winning in the afternoon. I don't know. Maybe it should be afternoon edition. We had a great show last night. We went over 3 big investigative pieces. If you didn't catch that, go back and check it out, because we looked at the border crisis with James O'Keefe and Megyn Kelly, the new movie Line in the Sand he has coming out. It's going to be phenomenal. And you know what? I can do this. I guess I could do this. Yeah, I can do this. No, I can't do this. I won't do this. It's too long. I have this thing I want to show too. Tucker Carlson has a new series out on his channel. Like if you pay for his channel, you get the series. And it's about Trump. It's like following him around the campaign and stuff. And it's really good. It's shot in like a very, very well way. There's nobody talking. It's all just people, people talk, right? But it's nobody narrating it. There's no narrator, no host or anything like that. It's just the people that are involved and what's going on behind the scenes. It's really cool. It's really, really cool. And I want to follow this series, and I guess it doesn't matter, but I'm trying to be polite about it, I guess. It's called Art of the Surge, the Donald Trump comeback. And this is the same channel Line in the Sands could be on. Be the first to watch. It premieres October 10th. I'm wondering what their thing is about restreaming their content. I don't want to be that guy. Oh yeah, here it is. That's why I wait a little bit. The first episode of it was streamed 2 days ago, so maybe I need to wait just a bit. But it's really cool. Shelly and I watched it last night. And it was a lot of fun, and it's exciting. They're about 20-minute or 30-minute episodes, 29-minute episodes a piece. So lots of stuff coming up there that you can count on here. We'll tell you what while we're talking. Here, I used to be a night person, but then I realized AM is still dark. The best part of the day is sunrise. Awesome. Cool. People aren't used to me being on at this time, and neither am I. Neither am I. But I'll figure it out. There's so much news I wanted to be able to supplement it. Like I had stuff that I couldn't even get to last night, and then I end up trying to cram it into the next show. But then I only do 2 of those shows a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I guess I could do Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays, but I like to have a couple nights off. I'm not one of those people that need to stream every day, but I just want to make sure that everybody's up to date on the content. I do run through and gather important content about what's going on right now. And right now is one of the most important times in our life. It's like there's a lot going on. I don't know if you guys notice things. I'm sure you do. Things are constantly accelerating. And that's the way it's going to be up until November. I mean, it's going to be one thing after another. But one thing you can always count on, and I think you guys may, if those of you who are around may remember me saying this right when I heard the hurricane was heading to land and heading my way and heading a bunch of people's way. I said there's 2 things you can count on these days. Like it's completely predictable, and it's as comforting as a warm blanket. You can always count on it being there. Is that anytime that there is a hurricane, anytime that there is going to be a hurricane during hurricane season, which is perfectly normal, right? There's 3 things you can count on, but 2 things you can definitely count on, right? Is you can definitely count on the left, the establishment side coming out and screaming that it's because of climate change, and the conspiracy grifters coming out and swearing that it's weather weapons. I mean, it's like, this is like nonstop comedy, right? It's just always going to be like that. So as I scrolled through my X feed last night, and looks like I'm not going to be able to find it right now. Sure enough, look at that cat. Look at that cat. That's so fat cat. Look at that. Lucifer, how's it going? Remember, for 2 months, I'm about to take the ferry over to the mainland and adopt a new Doberman puppy. Wish me luck in traffic. Lucifer, are you a recurring member? Do I have you on the list? Are you a paying member? Let me know. I got to add you to the list if so. I don't know if that was just a gifted membership and you got lucky 2 months in a row, or if you're a paying member. If anybody's a paying member, I don't have you on this list. Shame on me. I'll get you right on that list. But yeah, you can definitely count on these 2 things. And sure enough, Mystery Craft appears to shoot projectiles out of the sky. This guy, Matt Walz, is a total conspiracy grifter. You can count on him putting out trash every day. Absolute garbage. So that's the problem with being me, is like my X feed is just a hodgepodge of stuff. But man, for some reason they love to hit me with the conspiracy grifters because they know it. They know it irritates me. Oh look, there's Legal Vice's dogs. Oh, how nice. See, $2 billion to Ukraine. I know you guys are just some people were just talking about this over on Shizzy's, I guess. I stopped by Shizzy's to say hello. $2 billion more to Ukraine, $2,500 per month to illegal aliens, $750 to Americans who lost everything in the hurricane. Yeah. That's one thing. That was a third thing, and you can count on the government screwing up the cleanup, the federal government at least. But I think Valiant Renegade. Love that guy. He's a cool dude, and he reminds me of a cross between Mr. Reagan and Johnny Damone from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. So if you know who Mr. Reagan is, the creator You know his voice, right? That's Valiant's voice. And then like he's got the Johnny Damone look, like old Johnny Damone from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Hey kid, I'm a scalper. You calling me a scalper? Gentlemen, I provide a service. You know, that guy. Hey, yeah, his 5 rules for picking up chicks. But he was talking about how FEMA really is a supplement to the state. The state is supposed to take care of it. So he was on Joe talking about that, like during Joe's 100K. There's Bruce Springsteen. What a disappointment. That guy's born in the USA, but I don't think that he remembers where that is or something, because now he's endorsed the corrupt establishment. What a tool bag. What a tool bag. Kittens love things. Meeting for the first time. So cute. Want to be friends? Want to be friends? Liz Cheney, neocon heir apparent, is out there proving that the false left-right paradigm exists. And okay, thanks for being here, Rabbit. Always awesome to see you. I like your new avatar. That's cool. You're getting a lot of new avatars these days. That's very cool. Yeah, let's see. All right. These guys. Yeah, new morning time. Nobody knows I'm on. I come in here muted. That's me in the morning. The big joke around here in the morning is me. But yeah, she's the neocon heir apparent. She's just proving the false left right paradigm was a real thing. And of course, it was a real thing. We all saw that. No matter who changed parties, nothing ever changed. But a change in party doesn't change. It's not a change in policy. Who's calling the shots? Quote unquote Ron Paul. Actually, I have this video from Ron Paul. I've saved it on Rumble, and I don't remember to pull up my own Rumble playlist enough. Let's see. Which one was this about? Fed's rate cut helps candidate Harris, but will hurt President Harris or Trump. The wise words of Ron Paul. Kamala illegals. Yeah, I'm just kind of strolling through X here as I get my brain together. And we're going to go into, we're going to talk about we're going to do our rig watch. We're going to look around and see what kind of rigging is going on with this election so we can stay on top of it and call it out. We did some, let me sort this. I think I added some new things last night. I did a couple, we'll look at what's going on in New York City. There's some riots in the subways, and some hidden camera footage reveals the Mexican army assisting migrants crossing the border. And police chief exposes the reality of Springfield's Haitian migrant crisis. Got 3 quick hits there from the border crisis. I try to move a little quicker during the day. Hey, T-Rex, how's it going, my friend? How you doing? Dun, 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 dun. T-Rex is in the house. Let's welcome him the correct way, shall we?
Affliction and hardship await those who resist. First of all, I don't pay property tax.
There he is. All right. Wolfram, you are a man of action. You're busy, man. Thank you for being here. I was just saying, well, here you go. At least, this is what I call it. This is why I call Alex 50. I call him 50% Alex now. 50% Alex. We does stuff like this. I'm like, hell yeah, you got a big voice and you're doing the right thing. But then when you go over his channel, and he has good friends, right? And you go over his channel though, and you see what he does at night. So I think maybe he changes personalities at night or something, because all night long last night, here's the good stuff, daytime stuff, 3 minutes ago, truism, okay, good stuff. And then you get into the nighttime stuff with him, and it's all based. You get into the nighttime stuff, and then you're going into old Alex, right? So you get into I don't know if I was just looking back a couple days or what. Here we go. You get into weather weapons. Like I said, there's 2 things you can count on when there's a hurricane, and it'll happen every time. You'll have all the left UN buy-in, establishmentarians saying that the damn hurricane was climate change, right? Oh no, it's the intensity. There's always been intense hurricanes, right? before there was such a thing as quote unquote climate change, right? Before the UN made it up, there were powerful, destructive hurricanes and all kinds of things too, all kinds of other things. And then before Alex Jones came along and created weather weapons, there was powerful hurricanes. It's hurricane season. I grew up on the East Coast. I know this time of year, every year, it's hurricane watch, hurricane season. This is when they happen, right? And I was like, as soon as I heard about a giant hurricane that's going to hit land, I was like, you guys wait. You hear the climate change people and the weather weapon people will go at it. And sure enough, he always throws out that they have this technology and secret testing, and it's so irritating to me, man. It's like, dude, when you do stuff like this, when you do good stuff like talking about the child trafficking and the immigration, and you quote tweet Vivek, right? And Vivek, by the way, I would use this as a case that this is why. Hey, Nafel, how you doing? Kamala rated the FEMA checkbook to put migrants in. Yeah, of course they did. Of course they did. I don't know how much FEMA has in their checkbook, but I would say it's definitely a federal emergency. Like I was talking about earlier, Valiant Renegade is in New Orleans, right? So he was there during Katrina and all that stuff. And people were talking about how that was weather weapons too, and that they purposely did all this stuff to the levee. And he's like, dude, I was there. That's shit. So, like I said, everybody always jumps. They never let a crisis go to waste, but neither do conspiracy grifters. Establishment and conspiracy grifters are two sides of the same coin, in my opinion. So don't grift the conspiracies when you can you have good friends, Alex. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. Hang out. You've met Elon. You met Tucker. You got, they want to hang out with you, dude. You don't have to be that guy anymore. You don't have to be weather weapons guy, right? Look at this is the one right here. This is what I got to see right as I was trying to fall asleep. Now, this guy, Concerned Citizen, I've talked about this guy before. He's like a UK disinformation agent. So I don't even know why this guy never stops. All he does is he has some halfway good stuff, right? But he just posts chemtrails all day long. All day long, that's what he does. And it gets really kind of disheartening that so many people get so much reach, right? Get so much reach. Zach, what's up? We rating? What's going on, dude? How you doing? Good to see you guys. We're just talking about how there's two things you can count on when there's a hurricane. One is wacky leftists coming out and claiming it's because of climate change, and one is because there's wacky rightists coming out and claiming it's a weather weapon. Now, as you can see right here, HARP secret weather engine geoengineering microwave weapon. And this is Alex retweeting a guy that just posts chemtrail videos all day long that are just contrails, right? Manufactured cloud cover from jet engines. Hey, Shelly, what's up? Hey, if people are coming in here, I need to say hello. I need to pay attention. It's the morning. I'm wacky and I'm lost and I'm wild and I don't know where things are, and weird stuff happens. Like my mic goes out and I start muted. All these fun things happen in the morning. That's what you can tune in for to catch me completely out of my element. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. We could do this. This will help. This always helps. Maybe this will get me right.
It's cold up there in Vietnam. It has to do. I can't imagine a more beautiful thing. It's cold. I can tell you all about it. I mean, look at this thing.
All right. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships, Shelly. Good morning to you. Let's see, Tola La Careza. Oh, Toy La Careza. Yes. Cat Zap. Blue Butterfly 20. Primo Avatar and somebody else. Oh yeah, Magic Angel. Cool. Awesome. Some of the new folks got a gift of membership. So thank Shelly for that. She is a rock and roll queen, Jersey girl, rock and roll queen. And she does all these great things. So thank her so much for that. And let's see. Yes, like it is morning, and this is when I struggle with the day. All right. I was like, I should probably be doing this the afternoon. But anyways, yeah. So if you look into this right here, right? And yeah, always read the notes on these things. This is part of the C-Base X brand radar system. It's a floating, self-propelled, mobile, active, electronically scanned array early warning radar put out by the Department of Defense Missile Defense Agency ballistic missile defense system. Wait till they put in Trump's Iron Dome. They'll come up with some shit like that. Let's say they're using that to control the weather. Look at this guy. He doesn't know shit about shit, right? He doesn't know anything but X because that's all he does all day long. This is a giant ionosphere heater. It can direct all that power into a single beam. Really? Where does it get all that power from? If you guys don't know, and I'm pretty sure I replied to this. Look at see, you know, when you can call out and say good, like right here. Like, I mean, you can call it a death call if you want to. That's fine. And then he puts like Illuminati bot. I was like this, right? But the WEF is a real thing. So why diminish it with this? Just say what it is. It's just a globalist organization that wants to completely reconstruct the world and the economy and crash the American system into stakeholder capitalism, and they want to have you own nothing and be happy about it because they said that right in public. Just go with that. That's good enough. You don't have to make all this other shit up. I don't get it. It's really irritating because this is no different than mainstream media, but I'm going to get off of it because it is irritating. And just say, look, there we are. Everybody smile. Hi. Yeah, so I responded last night, right? And I was like, you know, I have this great playlist right here called Deprogramming the HARP Conspiracy Grid Forever, where I spent, I don't know how many hours, maybe 3 to 4 hours, right? And there's the big HARP machine with everybody just rolling around in tugboats, you know? And if you just follow this link right here, it takes you to the website of the people who built it and tells you the capabilities of it. In order to do something like you're talking about, ionosphere directed across the planet, you know, that shit, you have to have so much power. It's not even funny. And you can actually get a tour of HARP. So if you ever want to go see the big secret weather weapon station, you can go get a tour of it. They'll take you around. Some very nice people there. They'll take you inside the place. It's a university facility, by the way. You can take it inside the place. They turn it on maybe a couple times a year for just little experiments. It can only really affect the ionosphere right above it because you know, all the antennas are pointing up. It's really stupid. And I can't believe these people get so much reach. The secret history of weather weapons that appear to be used in a hurricane. So you watch this thing right here, and it's like, you know, they see this one little line on a radar, and they say that's the laser beam, and it's just ridiculous, man. I can't believe he spends money and time on this, like when you could be doing better things. So I'm like halfway lecturing, halfway disappointed, and that's why I call him halfway Alex, like 50% Alex. 50% of the time he's pretty good. He's on target with stuff, and there he is jumping the shark, guys. You see, and this is exactly how I feel about it. You know, you have zero proof it's being used. Show the damn thing in action. Like, show me go record it. You know what these things are. Go record the laser beam coming out of the laser gun. All right, or shut up, because we need to focus on the 2024 election and it's in 2030. That's coming right after that. That's what's important. That's what I cover here. But anyways, and we don't ever jump the shark. We just call out people who do. But yeah, you know, there's so much going on, and you know, they just I don't get it. I don't get it. All right, let me go back to this view real quick. Yeah, hey, you doing? Anybody else rolling here while I was looking at my other screen? Daisy Girl Williams. Now we've had a missing persons report out on you, so I guess we can call that off, guys. Can we cancel the missing persons report on Daisy Girl Williams? Don't have much time to chat. Just got internet access back. I'm in a new neighborhood helping to take care of the farmer who got run over by a tractor. Well, that's nice of you. Whoa. Well, that's really nice. Congratulations on the new neighborhood, new internet, and all that fun stuff. You rock. You rock. All right. Oh, man. Okay, this always makes everybody happy too. I'm glad you're back, Daisy. We missed you. We were worried about you. Next time, let somebody know where you're at, all right? Yeah, I get it. You had your internet out. We missed you though. And let's celebrate Daisy coming back with this. Talking Trash and Truths, thank you for the $10 super chat. Happy Friday to my favorite avatar ever. Awesome. Did Shizzy raid me? Did I miss his raid? I saw Zach come in here. Zach, thank you so much for being here, man. How's that fish doing? It looks really good. It's a red fish, I think. Is that a red fish? All right. Cool. I guess maybe he didn't, or maybe he forgot. He said he was gonna raid me on today. Or maybe he didn't. I don't know. All right. More coffee. They didn't raid. All right. Okay. No big deal. No big deal. He did raid me on Wednesday, and I do appreciate that. I do. Okay. Well, I got bookmarks here. I got things saved. But I want to show that I'm excited about this. Let's do this. Let's get off of X, which is just frustrating. That at least that kind of X is frustrating. And let's look at this. This is something new and exciting. This is ground news. All right. And this is a site that Brandon Tatum turned me on to. And basically what you can do with this site is you can see where news is being aggregated. And I find, as a media analyst kind of guy, I find that very, very, very cool. Look at this, right? So I got the mid-tier subscription just for the show, just for you guys. And you can look at it, and it tells you all kinds of things. Like, let's just go to the home page here real quick. All right, and that's your home page. Can everybody see that all right? I probably need to get a new view for this, don't I? Let's take this view and do something with it. I'll pull myself over here, this area, and then I will make this screen like this. Can I do that? It's gonna let me make it. Okay, let's try that. Save. Does that work? Oh, that's my hot tub lineup. That kind of works, right? Why is it not like stretchy like the other one? Like this one right here. I like that, but I can't edit that one. Wait, I got that. Oh, okay. We'll just go with that. We'll go with that. That's our old school watch party Sunday view right there. You guys can still see me down here, right? I still got the thank you banner running. That's me in the morning. Lots of fun in the morning. If you're new here, you're here for the first time and you're new, please help us grow. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe, repost, tell a friend, telephone. All right, tell a cat, all that fun stuff. Oh man, I could use the energy drink right now. The coffee doesn't seem to work very well on me. I have what they call the ADHD, or no, actually they changed it. I still have a legacy. I'm grandfathered in with ADD. That's what it is. But actually, that shit wears off as you get older. But I think that there's still some lingering effects sometimes. I feel like I've really gotten over that. Like I could sit in my chair for more than a couple minutes. But other than that, I think I've really kind of, chilled out on that a little bit. But sometimes I can get there. Depends on if I'm really focused on something or not. I can really focus on things, but then I can't focus on anything else. And then it just sounds pretty normal to me, right? It's muggy in Atlanta this morning. T-Rex Trucking is in my city. He's in my city. He's running around. But see, look, this is really cool, right? You can actually see like if 90% of the cover or 29% of the coverage here is on the left for this jobs creation total. Censure 71%, 0% on the right. It has this blind spot meter right here, the blind spot. These are stories that are disproportionately reported by the left or the right. So we can actually take a look and see what the other side is thinking and what we're getting fed more of, right? What we don't get to see. So that's pretty cool. So like, hurricane coverage, right? That was a big topic of the day, right? So you can see right here that these are the things that the news that's getting pushed out, covered most by these outlets here. And you can look at these blind spots here. So only 10% of the left here is hearing Trump claim Hurricane Helene response going even worse than Katrina, right? And that was a big deal. Katrina was that didn't seem like it went too well, right? But you can see here only 4% of the right is hearing Florida communities hit 3 times by hurricanes grapple with how and whether to rebuild. Right. So these are 2 things you can look at, and we can read into these articles if we find something very interesting. And this one right here, Hurricane Helene brings climate change to forefront of the presidential campaign. What? Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at this one real quick. Right. I like looking at the other news. Right. What is the other side thinking? But here you go. This is what's great about ground news. So I think you guys are going to really like this. And we'll read through some of these things. If you want to listen to a guy that's half awake read to you, we can definitely do that. I'm sure one day they'll have an AI voice in here that'll beat mine, but why not? So you can see right here, we're looking at center news, right? And we can see that these are the sources, right? Look at that. I need Max Mira. Someone get Max Mira for me. I cannot read what that says. The Record Herald, Wilmington News Journal. Hurricane brings climate change. What I say? 2 things you can always count on when there's a hurricane. You know, wackos on the left calling it climate change, and wackos on the right calling it weather weapons. You can always count on that, man. Stay based, y'all. That's what we do here. We stay based. All right. So this is center, right? But even in the center, you see they call it center, and they're still putting out climate change stuff, right? Climate change, right? This one leans left. Is forcing the 2024 presidential candidates to address climate change. Is that right? Is it forcing us to do that? Leans left. So it's crazy. So let's go to the right, since we're not going to see much of that. And what are they saying here? Is it right here? How's that work? Oh, yeah. Oh, down here. Okay. Go to the right. 3 articles. There's one. Wilmington News Journal is the one reporting this. That's what I'm saying. It's low news coverage. It's not something that is put out there. Let's just say. Oh wow, you can just go right here and do it too. So you can view all the articles from right here. Nice. Repost to the 22 other sources. Okay, we're learning this together, and as well as how to use a mouse in the morning. All right, there we go. Center right. You left and you're safe now. Okay, cool. Lots of good stuff in the chat. Leans left. Okay, so they're trying to, like I said, you can always count on the climate change shit coming up when this happens. And then of course that's what they're going to talk about when it comes to the hurricane, and they'll probably avoid much of the financial discussion about that. All right, so let's go home. And I saw something about DeSantis down here from last night, but then I had to reboot and I lost it. Let's see. It was a top story for a while. Latest stories: Harris campaign targets red rural counties as it tries to narrow Trump's margin. What do you want to bet? And that's covered. Let's see. We'll click into it, and we'll see that that's the headline there. What do you want to bet that this is where they're going to stage a bunch of stuff here with this? Like, my prediction is a bunch of like staged events. Hey, how you guys doing out there? I hope you guys are all doing well. If you're watching on Rumble and X and wherever you're at, we got 2 people over on Rumble. How's it going? I know. I shouldn't even be on right now. You guys are used to me at night, but we're doing something new on Fridays and Wednesdays. We're trying to branch out, meet new people, go new places, see new things. That's what we're doing today. And I do have some videos coming up, but I'm just spending the first half of the show kind of running through things like this, trying to change up a little bit. All right, and have maybe some clippable moments here later. And then kind of tell you about the stuff we do at night too. Let's see. I'm gonna bet, guys, that we're gonna have some staged events here. Let's see where she's going. Political wire. See 0 on the right, 6 in the center, and 1 on the left. Who's the lefty? These guys? CNN, of course. As it tries to narrow Trump's margin. I don't like reading CNN, so let's read this little blurb here. Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign is targeting red and rural countries in the final sprint to Election Day. Well, let's see. According to at least Trump, I'm glad that Trump and them are talking about what matters in this, and that's the federal response. I can tell you what, if he was president, he would never let that. He would never let people suffer. He can't do it as he's not president, when he's not president. So as president, he would make sure that people were taken care of. That's being shown right now. That's what you need to focus on. in terms of running for the election, right? I mean, running for a president, the election that's happening here very shortly. I hope you guys are all ready to vote. I'm excited to vote. I'm ready to vote. I'm going to go I think I might go vote early. I mean, actually, it's really not a problem here to vote on election day. It's just, let me tell you a little story. You know, you guys hear about DeKalb County and you hear about all these places in Atlanta, right? And so I've always voted in one of these places, Fulton County or DeKalb County. And every time in recent history, let's say since 2016 on, I've gone to vote. Okay, the way it goes is you go into this place, right? You go over your little electronic goddamn Dominion voting machine and you punch in your stuff and they give you a printout when you're done. All right. So then you have to walk over to another place and scan it in. And there's a guy standing there and you scan it in. Okay. You can scan it in face down. Every time I scan mine in, it kicks it back out. And then you go, okay, we'll try it again. Kicks it back out. Okay, we'll just turn it upside down. And then it goes in. Like, this is what happens every time. And then I've seen it happen to other people too. It ain't just me. So I'm guessing these are the Trump ballots. You know, so I'm going to keep an eye on that and see if they got that fixed. But it seems to happen every single time. Weird, huh? I'm guessing that the ones that are scanned upside down, they have to go manually scan those later on or something. Or they manually enter them. I don't know. I don't know what happens. But I know what I did this time. I signed up to make sure I track my ballot. That's right. I'm going to make sure that it goes all the way through. And if there's any issues, I'm going to be making a big deal out of that. I will make quite a big deal about that. Okay, so I'm still learning how kind of what to do with this stuff, but it's really cool. I think it is, and I'm going to bring it up every time, and we're going to go through. We can look at crime. Looks like the Los Angeles prosecutors are going to review the new evidence in the Menendez brothers. All right. I'm really better working with video, but I'm really just trying to be more well-rounded. And you know, print media and me, it's what it is. You look at the candidates, you look at the issue. What's the issues? We're gonna just hunt around here and look at this cool. I love this concept though. It's pretty cool. So you can see where interest ratings are on these key issues here. Immigration way up, way up. All right. You can click on that, I guess, and it'll take you to immigration. I don't know. Are we going anywhere? Or are we just going to show me this? All right. Americus warns FEMA doesn't have enough funding to last through hurricane season. Well, send the illegal aliens down there to work. They'll just loot the place, though. Don't do that. But take their money. Take their money. This is going to kill them. You know, talk about an October surprise. This year, God had the October surprise, didn't he? This year, God says, you know what? I got it. This is the year God made the October surprise happen. And what are you going to do? And nothing that you do this month is going to matter unless you fix this. And people aren't going to stand around and be happy about it. People that shouldn't be here, that were let in illegally, that are being treated like kings and queens, shouldn't be. This is America Last on display. I mean, between the dodging the bullet by a fraction of an inch, right, and this hurricane, these are two things that are very tragic events, right? That shed light, though, and almost like the tragedy of these events expels this buildup of evil, like into one solid event. And I'm just trying to be observant about the way the universe works right now. I'm trying to be observant about the way, you know, life is. I'm stepping outside the veils, deep outside, to the way the world seems to work. You know, we've had this big giant buildup of corruption and evil. It's come through in the way people have been treated over time. Let me just try to change this view. I guess I could still put it there. I'm going to move on to videos here, and I'm going to get better at doing this. I feel like it's all over the place. But I mean, you guys help me out in the crowd. I'm watching, or if I'm just being entertaining and you're getting a good laugh out of it, that's good too. I look at the way things, you know, sometimes it just hits me like a brick, and I'm just like, you know, over these last 4 years, we were talking about this the other day, how, you know, the losing 2020 was obvious, but it may have been a blessing in disguise. And the more I think about it, the more I think it is. Look at this great team that Trump has around him now. Look at this great, look at how much he's learned over time. What would he have looked like in 2020? I mean, he was just getting his feet wet. He'd done something great by kicking the rhinos out and neocons out of power on the right, and now starting to run them off, right? Like Liz Cheney and all of them backing the corrupt establishment. Of course, we always knew they backed them, but they can't play the heel anymore. Now they've joined their faction. So there's a new faction in town that's the real face, but they're being played out to their fans as being the heels. But we're not. We're the faces. We're the faces in this. We always have been. Man, and then this, but let's think about how much evil has been built up while these people have been in charge, because they're corrupt and they're evil. So they've allowed evil things to go on. They've opened the border. People are suffering, drug overdoses, crime everywhere. There's so much evil has been done with the consent that they've manufactured, that free will, right? The free will they've manufactured from other people, their base, their mind control victims, their establishment narrative boxed in base, right? They don't see outside that. A lot of people a lot of people I know, right? And this giant release of this rebalancing of energy is, I believe, between good and evil. It has to happen. And this, one of the universal laws is the universe must, is always seeking balance, right? It's always trying to balance itself out. It's never trying to let anything overrun the other. And this is kind of the way good and evil work. Like, when there's tipping points, we call it, right? And I think that we've had so much evil for so long that we're now rebalancing, and this could be like that golden age where things really flip around, and we have this long period of time of really good things happening, real growth, real creativity, real harmony. We have opportunities to better ourselves in the world. I'm going to go ahead and just move this up a little bit here so I can talk. I'm down there in the corner, not really looking at anything, but it's inspiring me to say this, that, this hurricane, the assassination attempts, other things, it's exposing stuff. It's exposing the evil. It's bringing light to the darkness, right? And that's a great thing. That's what creates the tipping point. That's what creates the overwhelming flee from the darkness for people. For some of us, it was 9/11 and Katrina, like back wow, it's been a long time. But back in those days, it was like 2001, 2004, and the early parts of the 2000s, right? For a lot of people, especially like me, that are out there and have been out there for a while, that was our wake up moments, right? These things catalyzed our awakening. And for other people, I'm guaranteeing you this stuff is happening. That's happening right now. It's waking them up. Natural disasters will do it. Big, giant terroristic events do it. It's called we talked about the shock doctrine, like mass shock to a system, snaps them out, can snap down the narrative out of their mind. It's one of those things that can snap people out of a trance really fast. So if you see an opportunity with somebody who's kind of like going in that direction, use that knowledge, everything we've been learning and talking about, everything that bring them to the channel. I'm not trying. You don't have to bring them to my channel, right? Just talk to them. Talk to them. Be a Vivek and talk to them about what we stand for and what's going on. Be understanding. Let me show you something. Let's get off of this. I'm going to show you something really interesting to go at this point. We're going to do it this way this morning. I know I'm really, really structured and formatted at night, and I'm going to try to do that here too. But I can already tell you I'm going to be all over the place because that's me in the morning. Unless I'm doing my work, which I know like the back of my hand, I'm kind of all over the place in the morning. Especially when I get up and go. I had to reboot. I didn't have time to do a couple of things I usually do before the show to get me going. But this right here, I want you to listen to this with me. Where are we at? And it's going to take me longer to find stuff because that's just me. I'm like all cloudy in the morning. It's fun that you get a different version of me in the morning. It's like, oh, it's my day. It's like night and day. It's what it is. It's like night and day. All right. Let's see. It's under my rig watch folder, and it's probably right in front of my face, and I don't see it. All right, let me just do. All right, this is going to be good. This is about Trump derangement syndrome being a form of quote unquote hypnosis, right? And and this guy talking about the cure, and it's Brent Weinstein with Glenn Beck. And I think, oh, look, this is the other thing that happens. Like I just suddenly I'm on top of where I need to be and I don't realize it. Yeah, that's what she said. Okay, there we go. All right, this is it. And it talks about how people are snapping out of it, like that there's certain things that snap people out of it. And they're talking about is this the cure for Trump derangement syndrome? So right in line with the topic. And this is like really good news. It's we see so many people coming over now and figuring it out. We got Tulsi Gabbard, we got RFK Jr., who's going to fill an important role in a very missing important piece to what's been going on in this world that needs to be filled. He's going to step into that role and fill it. And that's our food and water safety and medical safety. He's going to attack the chronic illness problem, right? We need someone like that to do this. He's dedicated to it. He's willing to put his differences aside to get the job done. And he's saying all the right things. Now he said some dumb things too, like about, banning chemtrails. Like he'll figure that. I'm not worried about that. He's going to figure out that shit's bullshit anyways, right? Those things don't exist. And he's going to figure out that it's been conflated. He's obviously figured out a lot in his life, right? So it's okay. We're not all 100%, right? We're not all 100%, but he'll figure that out. That's not worrying me one bit. So let's watch this right now. Let's go at winning speed. All right. And if anybody needs, a little bit of help with this, let me know. I'll chime in here. I'm gonna get an energy drink. Let's go.
Brent Weinstein on. He's an evolutionary biologist, co-host of Dark Horse, the podcast. He is also one of the founding members of the team putting together Join the Resistance. And you can find out all the information at jointheresistance.org/donate.
Real quick, because my mic settings are all screwed up right now. Is this too low? Am I low? Someone let me know how my audio is sounding. Am I crisp? Am I coming through? Do I sound like a Muppet? I mean, like what's going on? Because I'm flying blind here. My for some reason StreamYard isn't communicating well with my software this morning. It's real disappointing. And it should, and I don't understand why it's not. So am I good? It sounds all right. Okay. I just didn't know if I was coming across too loud or too soft or anything like that. But thank you, Zach. I appreciate that. Let's go.
It's September 29th in Washington, so that is a week from this weekend.
Do you think that the Weinstein brothers get together and like pick out the toupees? Because they both have the same toupee. This isn't their real hair. We all know this, right? Like, I mean, I'm not trying to be critical or be mean, but I'm just like, they just. It's funny that they both have the same kind of look. I mean, they're both brilliant. They're both very smart men. Very, very smart people. They're very intelligent. Let me put it that way. They're very intelligent. But yeah, I find it funny because I've seen Eric a lot lately, and then here's Brent, and I look at him and I was like, "Oh, you guys, I could tell you're brothers because you have the same hair." I don't know.
I know how you probably feel about going to Washington, kind of the same way I feel about going to Washington, but I'm doing my best to clear my schedule and be there just to stand in the crowd with everybody else, because I think this is really, really important. Brett, welcome to the program.
Thanks so much. It's great to be with you. One minor correction.
Yeah.
The website is jointheresistance.org. The name of the event is Rescue the Republic.
Sorry. Yeah, Rescue the Republic. So tell me what Rescue the Republic is, for people who don't know.
Rescue the Republic is more than an event. It is really, in my opinion, the first meeting of the vast unity coalition that is forming in large measure in response to the tyranny that is clearly unfolding and planned by what I call the blue team.
Okay, so in case you didn't know, Brett Weinstein is just a Democrat, right? On the left, has been on the left. He's woken up. He's had his moment of clarity, and now he's like actually in action. He's actually doing something, bringing this unity coalition together. Right? This is really good. This is really could be good news of the week. Like I do good news of the week on Saturday nights for winning Saturday night. And I'm not going to be doing a show this Saturday night, by the way. So FYI, Shelly and I will be back the following Saturday because she's usually on the first weekend with me. And we do good news of the week. So maybe I'll just bring some of the good news up too as well. And I'll save a lot of my hard news topics for next Tuesday. it seems so far away, but yet I know it'll be here before I turn around. All right. So anyways, but this is really good news. And so here you have it.
I'm embarrassed to say that's the party to which I still belong, the Democratic Party, which has
still a
obviously gone
Democrat.
rogue and opposes all of the values that are foundational to the West. So many of us across the political spectrum have recognized this hazard and are putting aside our political and ideological differences in order to protect this civilization, which has been so good to us, and to stave off the disaster that will unfold if it is destroyed.
Yeah, see, that intelligent, man. That's intelligence right there. That's intelligence in action, doing something about it, putting his sharp mind to work. And he'll never be the same because he's realized, hey, this Democrat Party thing is, his mind's open now. He might actually look at some of the things that he believed in the past and be like, you know what? I kind of don't believe that anymore. I kind of had a wrong impression of what the other people thought. I mean, everything's in motion. Everything's moving. There's so much change going on right now. Be happy, be excited. I know it's rough, but all change, there's pain with all change, right? It's like with growing pains, if you will, right? We're still learning how to make this thing work. We're still learning how to make this thing work. We're still learning how to make this technology work. We're constantly evolving. I mean, I've been waiting. I mean, for me, I can get real excited about this because I've been waiting decades for this to happen. In fact, back in the Ron Paul days, we were trying to get this kind of stuff to happen. People were like, "Well, never would vote for a Republican." Oh, those guys, they like rich people and they hate the poor. It's like dumb shit like that. It was just so closed-minded crap. And then here's this guy comes. So, the thing that we all inherently know, that if this thing we have right here in America goes away, we're all screwed, right? And so the smart people, are eventually going to have to stand up and do something about this. The awake people, the aware people. And I'm just happy to see so many people waking up. And as the evil people that helped hold up this corrupt paradigm, this false left right paradigm for so long, are all rushing over and being forced to be pushed into their pile, right? And we all see where they're going. We see where Liz Cheney is. We see where the Bushes are. They've been for a while, since 2016. Right? We see where all the evil people go. All the shitty Hollywood celebrity, De Niro, Bruce Springsteen, fake rocker bullshit motherfuckers out there. Sorry, I get a little emotional when I start talking about all the scum that influences people, influences young people, and the things that they do, running to cuck for the establishment that's going to just step on their head anyway. But anyways, let's go back to this.
So, Brett, I mean, 8 years ago, you and I wouldn't have been talking, I don't think. We would have seen each other in the opposite camp. What is it that, I know what brought you out of that and decided to say, I need to stand on my own here because some things don't make sense and they're not right. But what turned you? What was the turning point for you to say, my own party is so dangerous to the Republic that I have to sign up and be on the side of Donald Trump?
Well, it wasn't one thing. It's a consistent pattern of hostility to the things that make the West so productive, vibrant, and innovative. And, any one of those things could be just myopia of some sort. But the consistent pattern suggests that we are under the control of people who do not value the system for what it is capable of and find the rights that we are guaranteed by our Constitution galling. So I can't stand by and watch that happen. I have children. I love them. They need to have a nation and a world that is livable, one in which they are not seen as a host to some parasitic force, but they are understood to be citizens with rights. So in light of what we are up against, what possible difference could there be between us that would matter?
How do you talk to people? Because you must hear it all the time. You must hear from people who say, crazy things like, you're a traitor. How could you possibly do that? I mean, Donald Trump is out of his mind crazy and he's a danger and we're all going to be in, shackles and chains. How do you talk to those people and get them to see the hypnosis in some ways that they're under?
Well, I have a couple different approaches, but I would say the key thing is to recognize that this is a kind of hypnosis of some sort. And I believe,
well, it's information-based mind control, but we can work with this. We can work with this. He's just coming out of it. We can work with this. All right. So tell us, Brent, how do we approach people and help them get over their Trump derangement syndrome?
Believe that literally, which means that the people that you're talking to who say that, 9 out of 10 of them, maybe 99 out of 100, are victims of something that they don't understand. They don't see it. And the way to reach them,
yes, victims of something, the cycle of abuse, information-based abuse, right? Information-based abuse, information-based mind control, because they've been lied to. If you're consistently lied to, that's abusive, gaslit, manipulated, having your consent manufactured. These are all abusive things. This is all negative consequences, actions, right? So you're going to you're manufacturing people's consent. You can get them to agree to consent to your ideas and your leadership through devious and deceptive means. You can do that legally in the universal law, natural law with it, and it works, right? Because people are supposed to be responsible for their own actions, even if they're tricked into it. You can't force them. When you get into force, now you're violating it, but it is technically legal. That's why they take this approach versus put a gun to your head, because their power will last longer with it. However, there are consequences to those actions that you commit on their behalf, right? And then eventually pile up, and that's where the abuse comes in. So, when you manufacture, it doesn't mean that you get off scot-free. It just means it's not as harsh a consequence as force, right? But it's still deceptive. It's still wrong. But again, it's up to the individual to secure their own free will. So that's the way that works. So, anyways, so they have been abused. There has been something that's happened to them in some way, shape, or form. And that's what he's kind of talking about here. I'll roll it back 5 seconds since I blabbed for a minute.
are victims of something that they don't understand. They don't see it. And the way to reach them is incrementally. The first job is always to let them see your humanity,
yes,
and let them understand that you know what it is that they feel and that you're concerned about it too. And what you want is to leave them with a question.
Lead with empathy. I'm going to translate. Lead with empathy. A long time ago, I realized that one thing. I think it was 14 years ago, 14 and a half years ago when my son was born. I realized one thing. Empathy could save the world. It really could. If we could see each other as the little sweet little innocent love and light babies that we were born as, and the sweet little kids who just wanted to play, right? Just want to be friends and play, right? Because there's always the shitty kids, right? But they got problems from some other kind of thing that happened to them early on, right? And there's a variety of personalities out there, but most of us, we were all born sweet little innocent love and light. If we could just see that in each other and realize that this world corrupted us in one way or another, hurt us in one way or another, have that empathy for each other, we would treat each other better all the time. I truly do believe that empathy can save the world, but you can't be empathetic when you're being divided by corrupt and evil forces that invert reality, or gaslighting us and telling us this and telling us that, and putting pressure on us here and pressure on us there, coercing us here, coercing us there, doing evil things to us all the time. In fact, you trace it back to the root. Those are probably the original ones that caused the problems in the first place, right? Just their systems, their ways, they're striving to control and dominate people for their own selfish needs and wants and mental illness. So he's on top of this here. And what he's talking about is empathy.
If the person I'm sitting across from sounds reasonable to me, they don't sound crazy, they don't sound like they have bizarre objectives or values, how could they possibly have reached such a different conclusion about what we must do now?
Yes.
That's the question to leave them with. And then when you return, hopefully they will be curious. They will have questions about how you could possibly be doing something that in their mind is the height of insanity. And that's a conversation that most people can have. You'd be surprised if you can break through the first layer and get past the instinct to either avoid the topic or shut down the counter arguments.
Right.
There's a lot of room to discuss where we are and where we should be headed.
So we're running out of time. What do we have? 50 days before the election?
That's about right.
Yeah. We are running out of time. And I've had really great hope. I mean, you look at the people who are coming to rescue the Republic.
Real quick, I think what he just said there was that you can use empathy to get around the denial and anger stages, as we talk about here. When you're dealing with people and their belief systems, right? False belief systems, especially. I talk about this a lot. You're going to have this denial is the talking points, right? Well, what about this? What about that? It's the fallacies that come out. And when you shoot all this down in a discussion, the defense mechanisms kick in, right? Well, denial is one defense mechanism. The next one is anger. And anger is the fight or flight response. So they're either going to fight you now and get really dirty and nasty about things, or they're going to just run away from the conversation. So I think what Brent is saying here, and this is a good thing to try out and test out, is if you can use empathy throughout those first two stages, you can circumvent those responses and hopefully plant a seed and get to the real conversation. And that's when you can actually make the most progress with somebody. And I know we've all lost people we care about and love because of this establishment, anti-establishment war that's going on right now for the soul of this country, the hearts and minds of this country. And just to clear this up, it's like this.
You have people that are now realizing that, listen, this is not a left versus right thing anymore, okay? This is not a Democrat versus Republican thing anymore. This is establishment versus anti-establishment.
Yeah, that's it. So empathy, let's give it a try.
It's Bobby Kennedy and it's Tulsi Gabbard. You're going to be there. Russell Brand is going to be there. Charlie Kirk is going to be there. I mean, it's a lot of very different people. Some of the best doctors are going to be there. Some of the best people on economics they're going to be speaking. Very short bursts from everybody on all of the things that are being violated and how we have to fix it. How do we do this in 50 days?
Well, it's obviously a heavy lift, but it's also easier than you would imagine. And I'm not sure how to make this point to people, but all of the political analyses about the election are inherently wrong if they calculate what the race is going to look like on election day based on what we think of as voters. Because there's a huge collection of people who are not voting. Some of them don't vote because they're tuned out. There's nothing to be done in 50 days about those people. But a huge fraction are actually not voting because they're fed up. Those people can come off the bench. And if they do so in significant numbers, they can swing any election. So from my perspective, as somebody who has frankly thought it wise to vote against both parties in almost all of the elections that have taken place for president in my lifetime, this is not the moment to do that. And it is certainly not the moment to sit out of the election. This is the moment to come off the bench and to stand up for the values that make our marvelous nation possible. If we can get people to recognize that, we can actually make a decisive enough victory that it can overcome what is presumably the margin with which the blue team is capable of cheating.
The Elon Musk has said repeatedly now that he feels this is pretty.
I'll rewind that part. Just what Glenn's saying right there. Because I just had a thought. I'm going to reach out to one person that I know that has a good heart in this whole situation, creator, that has decided not to vote this election because I think of this TDS, little minor TDS syndrome, right? And I'm going to send this video to them. I'm going to ask them just to take a listen to it. And I think that maybe it'll make a difference. And I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop this link to this video too. I like to do this in the mornings more often than I do at night. I'm going to drop a link to this video, and you guys see if you can think of somebody that may need to listen to this message.
Pretty much it. Western civilization is at stake this time. Now, that sounds like hyperbole to a lot of people, but on September 11th, 2001, we all instinctively knew that. When we were hit that day, we all thought, oh my gosh, this thing is fragile. It could come apart at any minute. And what they were trying to do on 9/11 could be done at the ballot box this time and destroy not just America, but the entire Western world. How do you convince people that's not hyperbole? Because most people don't believe it could ever happen.
Yes, I truly believe it's not hyperbole. And in fact, I believe that we are being slowed down in our recognition that it is actually an ongoing process. What we are living through is the looting of our system. The resources are being drained out of it because those who are orchestrating this understand that they are pulling the plug. So we need.
Yeah. That right there goes into Agenda 2030 and the UN and the globalist agenda right there.
To wake up faster, that all of this money printing is not the result of foolishness. This is the end game. The same can be said of the bubbles that we see in our markets. And the fact that they have come up with rationalizations for eliminating our most fundamental right to freedom of speech tells you that this is the end of the process. This is the point at which they do not want us to be able to talk about what they're doing because it's going to go on fast forward. So I don't think
freedom of speech is a big deal to everybody in this country. It's a big deal to those people underneath the first veil too. So if you can reach them on that level, you can start a conversation up and hopefully make them realize some stuff, because they want to be able to have their freedom of speech as well. And when you tell them that you're behind their speech, even if you don't agree with it, it could open a door.
I think Elon is being hyperbolic at all. I think he's right on target.
I do too, and I'm so glad to see people that are open-minded and generally don't vote the same way I do, come to the same conclusion and understand where we are. So tell me a little bit about the event on September 29th in Washington.
So the event is a free event. We are hoping for a very large turnout for a couple of different reasons. One reason is that it will make it obvious that the support for this new unity coalition is tremendous.
Hey, Lex.
And that will make it very hard to sell the story that Kamala Harris has been swept to victory by a wave of support.
Let's say the establishment, right? Because they're controlling that left group right now, right? So let's just put it on. Let's put it on the establishment. That's why I always try to make people realize the paradigm, the true paradigm: establishment versus anti-establishment. And the establishment is corrupt. That's why I always go back to that paradigm, and I try to stay away from left and right. Because when people consider themselves left, then it becomes kind of an alienating point, right? So that's why I kind of go away from that. And I say this corrupt establishment, and I say, well, they're after you too, right? And it kind of like bridges the gap a little bit. It helps a little bit more. Good to see you, Lex.
The other reason, though, is that seeing people, flesh and blood people, gathering across political differences, putting ideology aside, is going to be meaningful to the large number of people who are debating in their own minds whether or not to vote or to sit this one out. We need to motivate them, and motivating them in large numbers will do two things. One, it will make it possible to win this election decisively. And two, it will make the point to the new administration that really governing from this vast storehouse of talent and insight that exists in the Unity Coalition is the right way to accomplish the job. This needs to be a new era in which, frankly, the Republican new Democratic Party is removed from power.
I'm sorry, you cut out the last sentence or so. What did you say?
I said that if we get a large turnout, that this will make the point that this Unity Coalition, which contains so much talent and insight, is the proper team to usher in a new era in which the Republican Party is transformed into something new and the Democratic Party is removed from power.
That is remarkable. And I have to tell you, I'm so excited for Elon Musk and Robert F. Kennedy and Tulsi and all of the people now. We're getting the real innovative thinkers to join with Trump. And I think that it promises to be a completely different world if he takes advantage of it and the American people take advantage of this team that is growing. Thank you so much. I want to encourage you to not only go to rescue the Republic. It is happening September 29th in Washington, D.C. But also, if you can show your support by donating. This is a very worthy cause. This is honestly, this is the 9/12 project from, the people we would have said are the other side. They agree with the principles that we put out. This is so.
Let me get his last thoughts in here. I didn't realize these are important. And I'm gonna mess it up here a little bit. That's what I do in the morning. I mess things up.
They agree with the principles that we put out. This is so incredibly hopeful and important. And I know what it's like to put this together, especially with the names that they're bringing in. My gosh, you have everybody under the sun. They asked me to speak, and I was like, no, I think I can just go and listen. I don't think I need to speak. RFK Jr., Russell Brand, Tulsi Gabbard, Matt Taibbi, Lara Logan. Everybody is going to be there. If you can donate, Please
There you
join the resistance.org/donate. Join the resistance.org/donate. It is
all right. Let's go. Let's move on. But yeah, that great video, huh? I mean, hopeful. And we see that people are waking up. Hey, winning. Yes, you're right. The establishment is the problem. The left are just being more vocal about it. Yeah, right. You know, they're being triggered. And that's what I kind of like was trying to do with the ground news, right? I don't know if you were here for that, Lex, or not, but I'm trying to figure out a good way to use this this platform, this new platform here, to show hopefully I could figure it out better, but to show how all right, to show how the opinions are being swayed, right? One thing is really cool is this blind spot section over here, the blind spot, right? Short stories disproportionately reported by the left and the right. And as you can see here, the right is having a blind spot on this news about departures in House create crucial Republican targets in the fight for majority control. So that is seemingly being suppressed from the right media, whereas Melania Trump's abortion views in new memoir spur outrage from pro-lifers. She is wrong. And that seems to be getting more coverage on the right than the left. This is just one of the things, right? The blind spot. So that's what it's all about. Pretty cool. I guess that's just a description there. I'm still learning this site myself, so I kind of just introduced it today. And you know, assassination attempts and the new threats have reshaped how Donald Trump is being viewed. I guess that's what it's going to say. You can see that, you know, that's generally coming into the center, but the left is getting some coverage on that, but not a lot on the right. Harris and Trump battle for labor support as dock workers suspended. Let's take a look at this real quick. You can see that these are the sources here that are covering it. And here's a summary of it. Vice President Kamala Harris will visit Flint as she competes with Donald Trump, working class voters. U.S. dock workers suspend their strike to reach new contract, avoid economic disruption. That's a great thing. Trump asserts that Republicans are now the party of the American worker, despite the anti-union history. Well, I mean, because unions tend to have, well, Uri explained it better than anybody else, didn't he? He said that it's a source of control because you can literally put people on strike and affect the economy, which is exactly what what's going on right here. So that's a little bit troublesome, and communists do target that position, that union leader position, traditionally have. So you have that as well. Independent media. I'm still learning about this stuff, how to use this. I'll get better at it. I will. I tend to get better at things, but you can just look at here. You can see where these articles are going out and who may be reading and consuming this information. So we go back a step. And we see more. Let's see. Top election news. Assassination attempts have new threats, have reshaped how Donald Trump campaigns. Donald Trump faces ongoing death threats from Iran after 2 assassination attempts, causing heightened security concerns and new campaign restrictions. Donald Trump staffers report increased anxiety due to death threats aimed at aides. Wow. They're just going after everybody. I mean, I wonder how much of this stuff is real and how much of it is a mind game with those people to make them be anxious and make them not go out and reach people more. I talked about this last night. I really feel like they should do more town halls. Just do town halls and make them longer. Don't just make them half an hour. Just, you know, take 20 questions, 30 questions. You know, spend a couple hours just talking to people online. Let people come in from their homes. You know, you can sit in your home, do it from Air Force One, do it from Trump Force One. Do it from some nice, safe place. You can still interact with people. Just do it virtually. I know it's better to get out there and shake hands and get everybody together. And Donald Trump has done it better than anybody else for the last several years. I mean, several runs. I mean, nearly a decade, right? Nearly a decade. And but yeah, why not use technology to our advantage? And let's just do it the safe way and get them through to the big dance on November 5th. And make sure that our candidate is safe and sound, and all of his staff is as well. Events have been canceled or relocated because of the U.S. Secret Service, because the U.S. Secret Service cannot ensure safety, raising worries about conducting outdoor rallies. Yeah, I mean, I get it. And you don't want to be bullied, and I don't want to be bullied either. None of us do. But let's just be safe, and let's make sure that we get to the big dance, because that's what we need. In the end, we have to make sure that he gets through to that on that day. You know, I don't want anything to happen to him. And even before Butler happened, even before July 13th, it was when he was walking around in downtown New York, right, meeting people out in the streets, that I got worried. I was like, this is way too wide open. Like, I don't know how they're going to defend against people up in a window on top of a building. I said it then. I was like, we're always worried about the corrupt establishment doing something to Donald Trump, right? Because he's true opposition. He's really a true resistance to their corruption. But when he was going into that public at this time in the race with so much going on, I was worried. And I said, I'm worried that something might happen if he's this exposed. I know it's a great moment when he's out there with the people and they're chanting his name, and we're seeing the great support, the true support for him. But it gets really troublesome. It gets really, really troublesome. Let's see what else can we go to here next. We've done a lot of the VP. I think the VP coverage has been done. So I'm not going to touch too much back on that. I do have a nice little piece here about the Republican surge. We'll keep things kind of good news in the morning. I know it's been there's a lot of bad news rolling around, and people are covering that. I will have some stuff that we need to take a look at in terms of the border crisis coming up next. But let's do one more run here with some good news and talk about this Republican surge everywhere. This is just from 2 days ago. A new creator I've brought to the channel here. He's up and coming, I guess. Real American. I like his takes. So let me introduce you to Real American, and let's take a quick look at this on winning speed. Just make sure I'm on. He may talk a little too fast for winning speed. Let's try it out.
Beware. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video. And today, we have to talk about the 2024 presidential election, because it appears that Republicans are surging everywhere. Yeah, that's right. Despite what Democrats may claim about the current state of the race, they are in deep trouble. And it's not just 1 or 2 states that they have a big problem in. It looks like Democrats have a big problem in virtually every single state. And not just deep red states or even swing states. It looks like they have a big problem even in blue states. Look at this. This is Florida, which I know is more Republican, but in the past month, Republicans have gained 60,000 new voters in just 1 month. Democrats gained only 36,000. That's not a typo. Democrats in the month of September gained only 36,000 new voters. That's it. Isn't it funny how just a couple of years ago, Florida was a swing state? Now it's a deep red state. And by the way, why the hell do Democrats think they're going to win Florida?
Right.
Why? Because every time I look at the voter registration, it gets even worse for them. I mean, every month Republicans get a net gain of like 30 to 50,000 votes every single month. But by some miracle, Democrats are going to flip Florida.
Yeah, well, you know how they do miracles, right?
It's not going to happen. Trump is going to carry Florida by a lot.
I believe
Rick Scott's going to win by a lot.
Florida. Yeah.
So this idea that Florida is a competitive state, no. Now, is voter registration everything? Of course not. But when you have trends this significant in voter registration, it becomes apparent that Democrats have a big problem. And it's not just Florida. Oklahoma, another Republican state. Look at this. 24,000 new voters in the month of September.
Look at that. Oklahoma, who has always paid their Section 8 housing recipients, and they've never missed a payment. Look at this. Look at this.
Democrats lost 1,200. I know it's Oklahoma, but you notice a pattern? It's every state. Iowa, which just a couple of years ago was a swing state. And, compared to other deep red states, it is, relatively speaking, competitive. Trump's going to win it, obviously. But, it could be within 10 points. In the month of September, Republicans gained 3,600 new voters. Democrats only gained 2,600. Let's keep going. New Jersey. I think everyone can agree that New Jersey is a Democrat state. There is virtually no way Democrats could lose New Jersey, at least on paper. Well, in the month of September, Republicans gained 8,000 new voters. Democrats gained only 4,000 voters. That's it. Yeah, that's not a misquote. Republicans gained 4,000 more voters than Democrats did. And you look at the advantage for Democrats in November of 2020, they had roughly a 1.1 million voter registration advantage. Right now, it's just barely above 900,000 votes. That's a swing of 200,000 votes in just 4 years. Hell, since 2022,
Wow.
it's been a swing of 200,000 votes.
Look, guys, if New Jersey can wake
This
up,
is bad for
anybody can do
Democrats
it.
because this is New Jersey. This is not some deep red state or a swing state. This is New Jersey, a very Democrat state. Yet, you're noticing a pattern.
Not for nothing.
It's not just the deep red states that Republicans are surging in. It's deep blue states like New Jersey. Kentucky, deep red state, Republicans gained quite a bit. New Mexico, another deep Democrat state. Republicans outgained Democrats by 1,500 voters.
It's gaining.
Just like New Jersey.
That's good news.
They're gaining way more voters than Democrats are in New Mexico.
These numbers are true.
Which, New Mexico is much more competitive than New Jersey. But look at this. Democrats didn't even crack 3,000 new voters in September. Republicans gained 4,300. Look at the advantage. In November of 2020, Republicans had a disadvantage of roughly 185,000 votes. Right now, it's only 158,000. That's nearly a 30,000 vote swing in just 4 years, just like New Jersey. Are you noticing a trend at all? It's becoming apparent that Republicans are surging not just in deep red states, not in swing states, which for those asking about the swing states, we got numbers out of Pennsylvania, and it's not good. Republicans gained 12,000 new voters. Democrats only gained 7,600 voters. It's becoming apparent that the Republicans are gaining in virtually every single state. Not just deep red states, not just the swing states, but now these more Democrat-leaning states like New Mexico, like New Jersey. Doesn't mean Trump's going to win New Mexico or New Jersey. Of course not. Voter registration can be misleading. It's not everything. But when it's nearly every single state showing the same trend of Republicans gaining way more voters than Democrats are, that's a big problem for Democrats because it's getting worse every single month. I mean, for crying out loud, Democrats were claiming that they were going to have a surge in September and October, that their enthusiasm surge was going to save them. Does this look like an enthusiasm surge? When it's not just New Mexico or New Jersey, it's every single state, even Iowa, even Florida.
That's great.
I mean, Democrats think they're going to win Florida? How? In 2020, they had an advantage of roughly 134,000 votes. Now, Republicans have an advantage of 1 million votes. They're gaining every single month, way more than Democrats. How the hell can you spin this as a positive? There's nothing good here. If this was just one state having big trends like this, okay, you could argue maybe.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. That we're doing better all the way around. People are waking up. I think it's a good sign. I think it's a great sign, actually. What do you guys think out there, man? What do you guys think? I like it. All right. Let's see. Where's my other playlist? Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me take a look at the bookmarks. I did say I was going to try to do more of my bookmarks in the morning here. Oop. I have learned if you scroll in too far, you lose your bookmarks. Morning show stuff. Oh yeah. Oh dude, yeah. I love the O'Keefe. I love James O'Keefe stuff, man. How does he get people to keep going out and telling him stuff? I think oh man, you probably haven't seen this yet. This just came out. OMG, that's O'Keefe Media Group. Undercover journalists. So, do you feel like MSNBC is doing enough to help the Harris campaign? Well, check this out.
So, do you feel like MSNBC is doing enough to help the Harris campaign?
I mean, they're doing all they can.
Meet Basil Hamden, a writer and producer for MSNBC's weekend show, Iman. Basil also reveals that, quote, what her message of the day is their MSNBC's message of the day.
What have they done to help the Harris campaign?
Amplify her message. What her message of the day is their message of the day.
Hamden revealed that MSNBC is the Democratic Party's mouthpiece and is doing anything to get Kamala elected. Hamden says this news network is indistinguishable from the Democratic Party.
So is MSNBC just like doing whatever it takes to get Kamala elected?
Yes. It hammers home the point that I'm making, that this news network is indistinguishable from the party.
Are they just the Democratic Party's mouthpiece?
Exactly.
MSNBC is the Democratic Party's mouthpiece.
Yes.
Basil calls MSNBC viewers brainwashed and states that MSNBC made their viewers dumber over the years.
viewers get mad at the guests or the host if the host were to criticize Democrats. They've made their viewers dumber over the years. I think brainwashing and dumbing down,
It's bad.
aggressive,
I get it.
helps Trump.
When she's
Helps Trump, huh?
delivering these messages now, I think she keeps getting better.
Kamala Harris is telling truth. The hate campaign against Kamala Harris has begun. They purposefully pronounce her name wrong.
But as a black woman, the product of a mixed marriage.
Oh, look at that. What black woman? Where? I don't see one.
She's an inspiration.
I don't know, Nicole, vote for her or don't vote for her. But isn't it great to just have a positive conversation right now?
Last week, we saw Vice President Kamala Harris's first mainstream media solo interview of her presidential run with MSNBC's Stephanie
Wednesday Adams.
Rule. Many people were stating how much of a softball interview it was. Here's a clip from that.
I just want to ask you yes or no. At any point in your life, have you served 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions?
Never. Never.
On a sesame seed bun? Working at a McDonald's, yes or no? That's it. I have. Okay.
With that, OMG decided to look into MSNBC and their cozy relationship with the vice president. Meet Basil Hamden, a writer and producer for MSNBC's weekend show, Hyman. Hamden's background includes working at the Huffington Post as a news director and being the executive producer for Michael Moore. Basil met our own...
Oh, God. What a resume.
American swiper on the dating app Bumble and divulged about his job to our undercover journalist.
Remind me where you work.
Right now, I'm working.
Bumble? Is that a real thing? I've never used any of that stuff.
At MSNBC.
What do you do? What's your title?
Writer, producer. So I a live news show on the weekends.
Okay, what is it called?
Amen. Yeah,
I've heard of that.
Basil Hamden, producer at MSNBC, states that MSNBC is helping the Kamala Harris campaign, stating they are, quote, amplifying her message. Basil also reveals that, quote, what her message of the day is their MSNBC's message of the day.
So do you feel like MSNBC is doing enough to help?
Look at him slamming that wine, dude. He's nervous. He's just slamming that wine. Slamming it.
The Harris campaign?
I mean, they're doing all they can.
Which is what? What have they done to help the Harris campaign?
Amplify her message. What her message of the day is their message of the day.
Just loosen up. Have another glass of wine there, Hyman.
Does anyone really trust the healthcare system? Well, thankfully, there still are some good guys left in healthcare, like our great friends at the Wellness Company. The way of your health.
You know, I've been looking at these. I know it's an ad and stuff, but and they're expensive. But it probably is a good idea to have one of these things on hand, especially this one right here, the $300 version. I know I'm not a big enough and more relative enough channel to have sponsors, but just to have this on hand in case something goes down, is because they'll probably give all this stuff away to the people that are here illegally first. But if they try to something unleashes from a lab overseas, say, or something like that, you may want to have that
journey. Now you and your loved ones will be prepared for the next shortage code OMG. That's T.T. Go to TWC, MSNBC's close relationship to the Democratic Party. Hamden revealed that MSNBC is the Democratic Party's mouthpiece and is doing anything to get Kamala elected. Hamden says this news network is indistinguishable from the Democratic Party.
What you were saying earlier, that the MSNBC aligns too closely with the Democratic Party line.
Yeah, so they're often saying the same exact things. The type of people who work in Democratic politics and in the campaign are a lot of the same type of people that would appear on air on MSNBC. It hammers home the point that I'm making, that this news network is indistinguishable from the party.
Are they just the Democratic Party's mouthpiece?
Exactly.
MSNBC is the Democratic Party's mouthpiece.
Yes.
So is MSNBC just like doing whatever it takes to get Kamala elected?
Yes.
Even if there are like clear contradictions that would potentially alienate some of the viewers?
Yes, but unfortunately...
That's bad journalism, right?
It is, but unfortunately, they've made their viewers dumber over the years. Fortunately, they're not brainwashing people with racist propaganda like Fox.
Racist propaganda like Fox. It's funny listening to brainwash people talking about brainwashing people, right? It just builds on itself, doesn't it? Let's see. Wolfram says, FYI, Red Cross has apps you can download on your phone for free. A first aid app and a first aid for pets app. That's a good idea. I should get that. Thanks, Wolfram.
But particularly post-Trump, from Trump on, they've really narrowed their audience's mind.
How often am I talking about that narrow box of the establishment narrative? You know,
to the point where even when guests go on their show to criticize Democrats, people get mad at the guests.
How about that? Closed minds, closed minds.
It begs the question, why isn't MSNBC's motto, the network indistinguishable from the Democratic Party?
Yes.
For Basil Hamden, MSNBC is nothing more than a network that is solely based on helping the Democratic candidate, Kamala Harris. Just this week, MSNBC panelist Eddie Glaude stated Kamala Harris has to win. And if she doesn't, our young children in America will have the threat of being bombed at school because of Donald Trump.
We got to come out and try to figure out how to turn out in large historic numbers, because we got to keep this troglodyte out of office. Because if he comes in, our babies are going to be in danger. Because remember, those young children are going to grow up with the memory of having to not go to school for the threat of bombs.
That sounds like a threat. That sounds like a threat, or maybe a promise.
When she needs to bust him in his mouth. I'm saying it like that because
there's the violence inherent in the system.
He's dangerous. He's dangerous to particular people.
These are very
fear-mongering. Wow.
Peculiar people that are at MSNBC. Basil Hamden, producer at MSNBC, dives even further into how MSNBC hosts and guests are so in sync, they will finish each other's sentences.
Do you feel like MSNBC doesn't necessarily tell the truth?
I think they do from their perspective. Yeah, they do.
But from like an objective standpoint,
it's very partisan Democrat. Their problem, and I think they would have a bigger audience. It would be if they were less tied to the Democratic Party itself. They should be progressive. They should tell the truth from a progressive perspective.
Is there such a thing?
But they shouldn't be tied to a political party.
how are they currently tied to the Democratic Party?
They just are way too cozy with Democratic politicians.
How? I can't tell.
If you watch an interview with a Democratic politician, they just finish each other's sentences. The anchor and the politician are just in total agreement about everything.
While investigating subjects, our OMG journalists always find that the subjects we investigate like to criticize or demean the very people they work for or entertain. Basil Hamden is no exception. Basil calls MSNBC viewers brainwashed and states that MSNBC made their viewers dumber over the years. Doesn't sound like they believe in their product.
They've made their viewers dumber over the years. Viewers get mad at the guests or the hosts if the hosts were to criticize Democrats.
Because they're so brainwashed
Yes.
into thinking that the Democratic Party can do no wrong.
Not that they can't do any wrong. It's maybe they can do wrong. I just don't want to hear about it. Don't say it out loud, because if you say it out loud, it helps Trump. I think brainwashing and dumbing down,
it's bad.
Aggressive,
I get it.
Helps Trump.
Well, here we go. The market has plunged again. The writing is on.
All right. I think that's it. Man, great undercover piece right there again by OMG. And, they're O'Keefe just put his life on the line to expose the border crisis stuff. And we're going to move over to that topic right now. So let's go back to just a quick little 1 minute piece on that, where he's at the border and he uncovers the fact that, how Mexico's army is supposed to be helping, according to the Biden-Harris administration. They're supposed to be helping, right? Keep they're supposed to be slowing down the numbers, right? But they're actually, turns out they might actually be helping them cross. Let me pull this up here. So, 1 second. Okay. Quick 1-2 minute piece here. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go.
¿Usted es el Ejército Nacional?
20-year-old Jose Luis Ateno is a member of the Mexican Army. He said there had been no movement at this border fence in Campo, California, an hour east of San Diego.
They've been cutting these beams yesterday, today, or recently?
Aquí hay muchos niños que cruzan.
He also said that his role is to, quote, stop migrants from crossing.
Lo ayudan. Los ayudan a que crucen, a que no crucen.
But the next day, we observed a vehicle parked at the Mexican Army patrol base right where Jose Luis Ateno was. They were actively assisting illegal immigrants move over the wall and helping them get across. The next day, as you can see, the same vehicle is transporting migrants to the border wall opening just 1,000 yards opposite the Army patrol area. Why did the
Look at that, going around the edge.
Mexican Army official tell us there's not much activity, or that Mexican Army doesn't let them cross when you can see migrants in the video crossing?
Hey, Graham.
In the film, Line in the Sand, we answer some of these questions. We utilize hidden cameras in Mexico alongside Mexican military officials and Mexican immigration officials to reveal what's happening. We also explore the United States' potential involvement in all of it. Line in the Sand premieres October 10th, exclusively on the Tucker Carlson Network.
Look at
Visit
that.
tuckercarlson.com/Line in the Sand.
Oh, believe me, we're going to be watching that. It's already out. Oh, hold on. What's today? It's coming out the 10th. It's coming out October 10th. What time is it we got here? Okay, we got about 20 minutes or so. Yeah, but I want to give it time to breathe, right? I mean, he did a lot of work on this. It's on, they're putting a lot of money into this, so I'm going to give it time for people to sign up for the tuckercarlson.com, their network, if they want to watch it, and give them a time to make their money on this. But I eventually want to play it. I mean, already a member, right? Already paying the dues. So, and very generous membership gift from a very low and awesome person. So we will be watching it eventually because we have to watch it. And I want people to see this more than I want them to make money. But I mean, I also want to be respectful. So I'm going to give it a few to breathe, but we will watch this before the election. I promise you that. We will watch Line in the Sand together before the election. All right. We've got to see this. I think when push comes to shove, they'd rather have people watching it than not. Right. I mean, so we'll give it a minute for people to get excited about it and let the marketing and all that stuff work and let them get in there and watch it first. And there's also, like I said earlier, when I started out today, I showed the screen. Let me show it again real quick. Yeah. There we go. The Art of the Surge. Shelly and I watched episode 1 last night. Very cool. Very cool. There's actually 2 out. And there's a Line in the Sand right there. So you can see I could be one of the first to watch it. I can do that. I'll probably watch it twice. So I probably will be one of the first to watch it. And then I will come and bring it to you guys later on. So then I can rave about it and tell you how cool it is and maybe talk about some of the points that are in there, and then we'll watch together. We'll probably do that on Old School Watch Party Sundays. So make sure you're subscribed and ring the bell for notifications. That's Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern. We do it every week. This week, we're doing a great one about social media again. But this, am I even showing this? God bless America. There it is. Okay. Sorry, guys. Art of the Surge. This is all about the Trump campaign, behind the scenes, great stuff. And there's Line in the Sand. Sorry, I wasn't showing that. It is the morning time. You get morning winning. And yeah, I do stuff like that in the morning. All right, here we go. So yeah, we'll definitely be showing it. So don't worry about that. Just make sure you're subscribed so you can catch it with us, right? And it will be sooner than later. I promise you that. Grim. Good to see you, man. Glad you're here. Awesome. All right, let's get back to this because we got a few more things to cover this morning before we say goodbye for the day and until Sunday. There won't be a Saturday show this week, but because we got plans for Saturday night. But Sunday, we'll be back with Old School Watch Party Sunday. And this week we will be doing I gotta pull up the damn thing. I can't remember this name to say about the Antisocial Network, Memes to Mayhem. It's about these boards, these kind of boards that not everybody goes to. It's only certain types of people that go to these boards, but a lot of these conspiracy grifts come out of this board. These boards like 4chan, 8chan, places like that. And this is the legacy of that, going back about 10 years or more. Let's see, yeah, about 10, 20 years maybe of these boards, however long they've been around. I don't know. They've been around a long time. But it's going to go back and cover that kind of stuff. And we're going to walk through a lot of conspiracy grifts that came out of these boards, originated from these boards. Also, a great spot for COINTEL to go to plant things and ideas and create things that they can then push out into the wider audience. It's a great spot for subversion. We're going to see a lot of people that founded these boards, and also some very unsavory kind of cyber terroristy people. Oh, great! I missed my alarm here. All right, thank you for that. Here we go. All right, back to it. Where are we at? This one, right? Oh, this is part of Rick Watch too. Whitmer fights over Trump 2024 campaign changes, election changes. Fights Trump over campaign election changes. I'm gonna have to say that for the main show. That'll still be relative next week. So, all right, let's go to where's that playlist I want? Oh yeah, it's right here. All right, let's take a quick look in and check in with Cash Gordon real quick and see what's going on in New York City. Riots just hit New York City subways. I'm not sure what's going on with this. In case you didn't know.
Take a look here at these new pictures, new video that just came into the Pix 11 newsroom. This is at the West 4th Street station in the Village. Now, on Sunday, officers...
So after an armed man was injured while charging towards police, protests against the NYPD erupted throughout the city. And while protesters are demanding accountability from police because innocent bystanders were not unscathed during their response, body cam footage of this event has been released. And as you're about to see, the man who went after police was afraid of nothing.
Just before 3 p.m. Sunday, surveillance cameras showing 2 officers following a man who appeared to jump over the turnstile, carrying what appears to be a knife.
Officers struck 4 people, including 2 innocent bystanders, as they attempted to stop an alleged fare evader.
He comes back 10 minutes later, cops following, quickly approaching him on the platform and ordering him to drop that knife.
Drop the knife. Drop the knife. This is happening off a fair, right? This is what we're talking about, $2.90.
What's on this head? Free Palestine.
For the video, I saw the steps those police officers implemented over and over again, trying to reason with the perpetrator.
The suspect refuses, instead getting on the northbound L train with several passengers on board. The suspect then charges towards one of the officers.
Now, police were after a man with more than 20 prior
Look at
arrests
that.
who was evading his subway.
Look who's there to protest. It's the queer Marxist.
While armed with a knife, and after struggling with the perp, they shot at the individual along with 2.
The checkerboard stuff. The Free Palestine people talk about the Marxist paradigm. They're the Marxist left. The Marxist right would be like Patriot Front, right? That's the Marxist paradigm. These are people who don't vote and don't participate in our elections. They're just out there to destabilize. And a lot of people they rope them in with the Democrat Party, but these people are protesting the Democrat Party too, right? They were the ones who are disrupting their rallies, and they're just here to destabilize. They have a Marxist. These are the cultural Marxist protest groups, right? Don't get this confused with your typical establishment left people, right? Your woke left, your BLMs, your Democrat Party operatives. These people are Marxist operatives. They're a whole different sect of people. They don't care who's in power. They just care about the political paradigm, ideological subversion, if you will. They're on a different level, but they get roped in a lot. So when you see these kind of people, that's what they're doing. And who's the oppressor in the situation? The police. Who's the oppressed? The criminals.
Innocent bystanders.
As protesters demand answers from police, unrelenting lawlessness in our subway marches on. And what nobody's talking about is that as unfortunate...
Well, not even Antifa types. It's I mean, they're types, yeah, because they're doing the same activities. But like these are the people that Carly Boschnik, whatever her name is, talks about, right? The queer Marxist, right? They're the people that populate the socialist convention every year, the socialism agenda, socialist, whatever. 2024. Go to Mayfair Books or something like that. I had it all like roped out when I went down that rabbit hole because I heard her comments, comment calendar. Other people were sending me her stuff, so I was like, okay, I'll look into Carlin Borinsky. I think it's her name. And she's very she's very good at looking into this stuff, but she's also very closed-minded. I love this freeze frame I got here. But they're like beyond, I mean, Antifa, I guess they're kind of like in leagues with them. I guess I could go with that, but Antifa is kind of a little bit different. I think they're kind of a little bit more politically steered. Whereas these people, I guess they're same. Yeah, I guess they're the same Wolfram. I guess we'll just call them the same. All right.
As the situation turned out, with so many unpredictable criminals roaming our subway system, we've been this close to a big problem for months. And critics say this story is just the latest example of how New York's soft on crime laws put the general public and our police in danger every single day. Because
isn't it funny how like Antifa kind of has disappeared a little bit, and these people have kind of risen up as the focal point. The checkerboard scarf wearers.
York, when someone commits robbery or assault, they won't spend any time in jail. No, instead, they get arrested and released, sometimes within hours of allegedly committing a crime, which proponents say keeps the innocent out of jail and first-time offenders from facing harsh penalties. But critics say these...
So flash down to North Carolina and how they handled Ryan Roof's long string of felonies. reducing his charges. Again, corruption in the system itself, right? In minor ways, like in North Carolina, where they just want to plea out people so they don't have to deal with stuff, right? They don't give them the federal charges they deserve. Ryan Ruth gets caught with a machine gun, and they give him a concealed carry charge, so he didn't end up in prison where he belongs, so he doesn't do dumb shit and hurt people. To New York City, that's blatantly open about it, and it's become normalized. It has become normalized.
Laws also mean that those with long rap sheets and dangerous criminal histories are out here when they probably should be somewhere else, creating a very unsafe environment on our streets and in our subways where the law is broken multiple times an hour, 24 hours a day, even when there aren't protests. Yet, in spite of the mayor adding 1,000 police to our subways and the governor deploying the National Guard earlier this year, protesters are now out in force, taking a less than peaceful stand against what they view as unwarranted police brutality. And that brings us to the real reason why we've got these protests in the first place, because although a dangerous criminal is now off the streets until they face justice, that did not happen without cost to the innocent. Yet critics say demonstrators have seized on the fact that innocent people were caught up in the police response. And they say many different groups are using that as justification for further lawlessness while protesting in our subway. But as your
because that's what they do. That's what they do. That's the strategy, the Marxist strategy. It's oppressor. Like, remember that documentary we watched, Beneath Sheep's Clothing? That explains all that. That explains that their strategy. We're also reading a book on Unrig the Game, Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern, called Big Intel by J. Michael Waller, that explains the history of this, and that this strategy is nothing. There's nothing new under the sun. This strategy has been done many times in many places, and it's just the same thing, because the toxic idea known as Marxism is pushing these people in this direction, and this is their strategy, and this is their training, and this is their indoctrination, right? So once they're trained up, they go out and do the same thing over and over again. That's why to solve this, we have to get to the root cause issue and understand what it is. And it's not just the fact that, they see this. There's an ideological root to this, right? And there's an ideological indoctrination to that root called critical theory. And we have to get that stamped out so that the youngest generation isn't being primed to be trained to become these people. Like, literally, we can trace the steps to where any of these people that are running around these groups right now, their journey to madness. We can trace those steps now, just through understanding the history of it and the philosophy behind it.
We're about to see the man who went after police did so while carrying a weapon, and observers say that left them with no choice but to give chase.
Yeah, you have to. You can't let crime go by. You can't let it happen.
So here we are inside the West 4th Street subway station, the site of a recent demonstration against police, a demonstration which seems to have been made up of very...
But you see, that's not really what it is. That on the surface, it was a demonstration against police. Underneath of it, it was the Marxist paradigm. It was oppressor, oppressed, right? That's what it was.
Various anti-NYPD groups.
Anti-capitalism is what it was. It's basically, it's a smaller paradigm to represent their Marxism versus capitalism true agenda,
including some pro-Palestine groups. But before we get into the chaos that unfolded right here just a few days ago, it's important to understand that those protests were planned before the police released their body cam footage, which the mayor says shows exactly what transpired.
Just before 3 p.m. Sunday, surveillance camera showing 2 officers following a man who
this guy did it right in front of cops. Like, he didn't give two shits about anything. Like, there's a cop standing right there, and he just jumped the turnstile right in front of him. Oh, I ain't paying for this.
Jump over the turnstile, going into the station. A minute later, he leaves, seen carrying what appears to be a knife. He comes back 10 minutes later, cops following.
Why did he come back 10 minutes later? That's weird. They let him go, and he came back. I guess he thinks he's allowed to break the law now, because that's the gates, that's the doors they've opened there. And then who opened those doors? And why did they do it? Right?
So before you decide whether or not the protesters are justified in calling for repercussions, or if the police did the right thing by defending themselves, you got to realize that this entire story is controversial from the beginning all the way to the ending. First, you have a man who jumped over a subway terminal directly in front of 2 police officers, which was done so that they could avoid paying the fare. But studies show that when people are caught evading the fare, sometimes they've got warrants for much more serious past offenses. And one thing unknown to officers at the time they tried to make an arrest was that the man who had jumped the subway right in front of them was somebody with 20 prior arrests, meaning that it was not their first time committing crime. And before we get into what happens next, realize that this is the critical moment of the story because police have a decision. Do they pursue the person who just entered the subway illegally or not? Now, the protesters, as you'll soon see, are upset that the police did not let this man go. But with such high crime taking place in our subway system, observers say that letting him go after blatantly breaking the law in front of the police may have emboldened this gentleman, and he could have gone on to enter the system and commit much worse offenses later on.
You start to believe that you can do anything, you know, anything, that you're above the law.
And this particular offender was on camera entering the subway system illegally while carrying a weapon. The police couldn't let him go. Had they let him go and had someone gotten hurt inside the subway afterwards, and this was all caught on camera, there would have been protests calling for the firing of those officers, essentially putting them in a no-win situation. Had they not pursued this person, someone could have gotten hurt. And by pursuing him, the possibility of an escalating situation remained open. And with many studies showing that fare evaders tend to have active warrants, what were the police supposed to think? They had to make a decision, they had to make it quickly, and they had to make it without knowing that the individual they were after had 20 prior arrests.
Cops following, quickly approaching him on the platform and ordering him to drop that knife. The suspect
Not dropping nothing.
refuses, instead getting on the northbound L train with
So how long until that guy uses that knife? Why does he have it in his hand? Why would he have it in his hand in the first place? Is he going to use it? I mean, you have to assume if he's out and he's brandishing a knife, he's going to use it. I mean, why else would you have a knife out if you're not going to use it?
several passengers on board.
Now, after this clip, you're going to see exactly what happened when the police were forced to defend themselves. But did you see what happened there? This man did several things that escalated the situation from the very beginning. First of all, the man was approached by officers after entering the system, and he was told to put down his weapon, and he refused. And that right there shows the police that he's dangerous and forces them to stay with him until the situation is resolved. They cannot let him go at that point. Now, when that happened, there was no train in the station, but this guy made the situation worse by getting on a train after it showed up, putting the riders on that train in danger. Now, there are two ways of looking at this situation. Either the people on the platforms and in the train were in danger because police were involved, or they were in danger because a man had just entered the system illegally. But on the subway car, the situation just got even worse because the man still refused to cooperate with officers and let go of his weapon, putting the police in another
Why would he?
no-win situation, because had that train left the station with that man aboard, there's no telling what could have gone wrong. And again, at this point, the police find themselves
Somebody looks at him. Someone looks at him sideways. He stabs him. That could have been a child.
Another no-win situation. They cannot break off this engagement. If they let him go after he refuses to drop a weapon that they know he's carrying, that's a dereliction of duty. And before we see what happens next, I've personally been on the subway with uncontrollable individuals who were really out of hand, and it's frightening. They berate other passengers. Sometimes they get physical for no reason, and there's no way to stop them once that train's in motion because there aren't police on the train.
Cops at one point deploying their taser. The suspect then charges towards one of the officers, then shots.
So one thing's for sure, the outcome here wasn't what anyone wanted. And although it may have only happened because police gave chase, it also could have been prevented had this person carrying a weapon, acting erratically, obeyed the commands of the officers and complied with their requests. Requests which were given to him before he had boarded a train and was just waiting on the platform, and which were reiterated when he tried to board a train with passengers on it before he rushed at the police. What's also pretty obvious is that this individual was not afraid of the police one bit, which means that he probably wouldn't have been afraid of the other passengers on the train either. And even though this situation ended with innocent people getting hurt as the police responded to this person who was rushing them, letting this individual go may have put other passengers in danger without the presence of police. And think about this for a second. If this guy had been on a train with no police and started a fight with somebody, what would have happened? We know he was armed, and we know he wasn't afraid of anything, possibly leading to a situation where the people on that train were faced with having to defend themselves without anybody there to protect them, a situation which nobody wants to find themselves in while riding our subway, that's for sure. And unfortunately, in this city, Good Samaritans don't exactly have the best track record when it comes to engaging with dangerous criminals without police around. And there have been recent instances where members of the general public tried to defend themselves from somebody who was armed and were prosecuted by our legal system for doing that, which is the same legal system that allows these criminals to walk our streets without putting them in jail. But even though police body camera footage has been released to the general public, there have already been massive protests and demonstrations against the NYPD. And critics say that some of the protesters involved in these recent demonstrations don't really care if the police were justified at all in their actions. So this here is one of the stations where there was recently a large protest. And even though you'll see signs around the station calling for peace, the actions of the people who were protesting here were not exactly peaceful. They were breaking the law to get their message out. Not that that message wasn't legitimate, because whenever the police deal with something in a way that requires force, there should be transparency. But many people are wondering what the true motives of some of these individuals.
Yeah, definitely. I want to hit this one right here. I want to go ahead and cut that short. I will drop the link to that video if you want to watch the rest of it. That's Jordan, and he's a cool guy. All right. So Subway riots. Yeah, so a lot of times I won't finish these like I do at night because I try to I'm trying to get through stuff in a shorter amount of time. And today's been a little bit of a train wrecky day. You know, we got some stuff done. I think we covered some good ground today. Good enough for a morning show, right? I guess I don't know. You know, this morning show experiment that I'm doing here, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it can become something. It just takes me a little bit of time to get people interested in knowing that I'm here. And you never know. We'll see. Maybe it's better. Maybe afternoon shows are better. I don't know. I Mondays and Wednesdays. Wednesdays and Fridays. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I just feel like I got to do more right now with election season coming up. Whatever I got to do to get the message out to help people realize what's going on. People come, people go. People want to help me some days. They don't want to help me other days. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. What matters to me is the content. It's not about me at all, right? It's about the content. It's about the message. It's about winning our reality, man. And people think that I'm talking about myself here with the name. I just represent the idea, a very good idea. One you should be subscribed to, ring the bell so you get notifications for on all platforms. Because I'm doing 7 shows a week. Well, this week I'm not gonna be doing the Saturday show, so 6 this week, but I'm scheduled for 7 a week right now, right? And that's me upping it by 2 to make sure that the messages do get out. I'll get better at this morning show stuff as it goes along, but right now it's time to get on out of here and for me to get to work and for everybody else to get out there and do their thing. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. I appreciate you guys that show up to all the shows and support the channel. All you winners out there, if you're here, you're part of the solution, and we're going to do this thing together, man. Guys, take care. I'll see you soon wherever you're at. Stay based, stay active, and keep on.
From the wackos on the left to the MAGAs on the right, they know I'm beating Kamala. This race won't even be tied. Her policies are nutso. She's out her goddamn mind. She just repeats the same thing, regurgitating her lines. She thinks that immigration without paperwork is good. Clearly not too much power underneath Kamala's hood. Borders are, it's what you are. Borders are. Cackling Kamala, you're dumb. Mass inflation imminent if she weasels herself in. If that don't sound like fun to you, then you better help me win. I promise I'll secure you, you'll be in better hands. It'd be a flippin' free-for-all with what Kamala plans. Borders are, it's what you are. Borders are. Laugh it up, Kamala. This lady, she's cackling crazy.
This is a friendship battle.